Connecticut.
We're doing our Financial Friday, as we usually do, with Bill Levitt of Bridgelight Financial Advisors. And I was looking before we have this chat about the stock market here, Bill. As of this morning, Bloomberg saying that the stocks have fallen as tariff wars overshadow strong jobs. This is a market wrap-up that I'm reading right now. But let's face it, week to week, but day to day even, Bill, the stock market is changing constantly. And so what do people do when the stock market is down? It's a great question and great topic for today's Financial Friday. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing this morning, Melissa?
I'm happy to be alive and well and here with you, Bill Levitt. That's the honest to God truth. And I always tell people that we stress about 95% of the things we stress about never actually happen. However, the stress people have around the stock market and the things that are constantly changing and what does it mean for their money and preparing, I think that's kind of fair to stress about. So it's important we have people like you in our corner to help us out with this. What would you suggest when you have somebody who comes to you and says, hey, you know what, the stock market is down, what should I do about that?
Well, those stresses are real for people because this is their money. They work hard for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to make sure that it's going to grow and it's going to be there for them and it's going to help them in the future for retirement. And so we are in one of those environments, and the stock market has been going down, and mainly because of the uncertainty about what these tariffs are going to do to the world economies. So that said, one of the key things we want to do just in the beginning is to avoid making impulsive decisions, like selling off investments in a panic. I think it's important for you to stick to your strategy unless your financial goals or your situation have changed.
Okay. So, avoid panic and kind of, I would think, reevaluate your portfolio in general. And is that something, how often would you do that, Bill? Because as I mentioned, the stock market changes constantly. I mean, when you say to reevaluate, your portfolio, is that when major milestone moments happen, major shifts happen, or do you have sort of a timeline approach? Like, hey, every 6 months to a year, you should reevaluate.
Well, you definitely want to be reevaluating this environment, right? You want to assess your risk tolerance. You want to make sure it's still the same, and in your comfort level with the amount of risk you're taking is still comfortable, and you're okay with it. But periodically checking, even in best times, is certainly important. So that definitely changes from one period of time to another. If you're just in the savings in the early years of your life, you can do it less frequently. But if you're closer to retirement, you want to be doing it more frequently, say quarterly, semi-annually. Just make sure you're in the right place, but definitely at places like this. But it also means that this is a time for opportunity for people, too. And so we should discuss that also. Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean by opportunity? Again, we have Bill Levitt here from Bridgelight Financial Advisors, the founder. And I'm curious, when you say opportunity, what are you suggesting there, Bill?
Well, we're a believer here that whether or not the markets are good or not good, there's ways to be able to make adjustments in how you're doing things financially and your investments to have the best outcome over the long term. So when the financial markets are down like this, if you're a savior and you're accumulating, it can be a great time to add new money, new savings, because the opportunity is that we all know that in the future it's likely the markets are going to be higher and you're going to benefit from that. The other thing that is really an opportunistic thing to do at this particular time is do something called tax loss harvesting. And that basically means that, hey, I'm going to sell off some of investments I may have that have a loss right now, capture that loss, and then reinvest that money to be able to use off of gains in the future.
No, go for it, Bill.
And the other thing that is a good timing to do right now is Roth conversions. So that basically means that I'm going to take money out of a traditional IRA account, and you and I have talked a lot about that over the course of time, but take it out of these accounts that are typically your tax-deferred accounts and convert it to a Roth to make it tax-free. Now, that's not for everybody, but it's a great strategy. And when investments are down, you can easily shift them over into a Roth IRA account, pay the tax on it. But in the future, when they grow back to what they were, as long as they do that, you essentially made a tax-free conversion. And these are things that we talk with clients about in this environment. So if if people aren't doing anything now or their advisors aren't talking to them, they should be, because there are things you can do even when things aren't good. Because, Melissa, what do most people do when things are bad? They freeze up, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say they don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
They don't
people
do
say,
anything,
well, I'm not even
right.
looking at my statements. I'm not even going to pay attention, So, but that's not what they should be doing. They should be taking, some solid, smart, tactical steps, whether or not things are good or bad.
Well, and the thing that I didn't mean to cut you off before, Bill, but when you were talking about, again, as you just mentioned, you and I have talked about this off the air, obviously, we've talked about this on my personal level. And I think it's important too, and we've stressed this before, that age really should be that should be a red flag. If you're being told that you're too young to be talking about these things or being aggressive or adjusting your plans, look, for the average person, you and me out there, I don't understand this. This is why I have a Bill Levitt in my life. It's important that you don't just sort of wait, right, Bill? It's important that you don't wait until you're in your 60s or 70s, getting closer to retirement, to check these types of options, and also know that there are different avenues you could take. And I don't know, I just think it's important to always reiterate that, because there is sort of this misconception that you should be figuring out these plans and figuring out different avenues to attack this and feel more in control of your money when you're closer to retirement or your empty nesting phase of life.
It's very true. And, it doesn't matter what phase you're in. There's things that you can be doing to maximize the outcome of growing your money, having what you want, making sure that you're getting to your goals, getting to retirement, and certainly have enough income when you do it. And so there's lots to be able to do. And if you're uncertain about that, if you don't know what's going on inside your investments, so you're uncomfortable with them, or if you want to look at ways that we talked about, tax loss harvesting or just doing some Roth conversion at this time, they can connect with us and come up to our website at bridgelightadvisors.com.
And I think that's so important, again, for people to, certainly the message to talk to somebody about it, but also if you wanted to work with Bill Levitt and his team at Bridgelight Financial Advisors, highly recommended. I think they do a really great job. And Bill, I want to thank you so much one more time with your website and where people can reach you.
Bridgelightadvisors.com, or you can call us directly at 203-795-7080.
Bill Levitt, I always love chatting with you. Thank you so much, and we will talk again very soon.
Thanks, Melissa. Have a great day. It was good talking with you.
Thanks, you too, Bill. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Melissa in the Morning.